The academy range was bright and cold, filled with the low hum of energy walls. Dozens of alien cadets stood in straight lines, their armor polished, their weapons held with perfect posture. At the far end of the line stood one human, Cadet Aaron Cole. He looked calm, almost relaxed, but it was his grip that drew attention. His hands did not match the standard form taught across the Galactic Alliance. His elbows were lower. His shoulders were not stiff. His body leaned slightly forward, knees bent just enough to lower his center of balance. A tall blue-skinned cadet noticed first. "Is that how humans hold a rifle?" he whispered. Another leaned closer and laughed. "It looks wrong." Within seconds, small chuckles spread across the firing line. Aaron heard them. He did not react. His eyes stayed on the floating targets at the far end of the range. Small metal discs moved at high speed, changing direction without warning. This was not a beginner drill. Even advanced cadets struggled here. The laughter grew louder. Maybe humans train differently because they miss more. Maybe gravity damaged their balance. Aaron slowly inhaled, slowly exhaled. Above the range, Commander Valor watched from the observation platform. His sharp golden eyes were focused not on Aaron's face, but on his hands. "Cadets," Valor's voice echoed across the hall. "Prepare to fire." Silence fell quickly, but quiet smirks remained. "Cadet Cole," the commander said calmly, "you will fire first." All eyes turned toward the human. The first target activated. It shot across the air in a fast zigzag pattern. Aaron adjusted his stance slightly. More laughter. "He's holding too tight. That angle is unstable." Aaron squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked like thunder. The moving disc exploded in a burst of sparks. Silence. Before the cadets could process what happened, two more targets activated at once, moving in opposite directions. Aaron did not rush. He shifted his weight. Two fast shots. Two perfect hits. The discs shattered midair. Now no one was laughing. Commander Valor pressed another control. 5 targets activated together. Faster than before. Smaller. Harder to hit. Several cadets exchanged confident looks. No one had cleared 5 at once before. Aaron lowered his shoulders slightly. His grip tightened, but not in tension. In control. The targets moved in unpredictable paths. Aaron fired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every single disc burst apart before reaching the far wall. Smoke drifted slowly across the range. The room was completely silent now. Aaron lowered his weapon. He did not smile. He did not turn around. Commander Valor stepped down from the platform and walked slowly toward him. Each step echoed in the quiet hall. The alien cadets stared at the shattered targets, then at the human's hands. Valor stopped beside Aaron and studied his grip closely. "Do you know why they laughed?" the commander asked quietly. Aaron answered without looking away from the range. "Because it looks different." Valor gave a small nod. Then he turned to the rest of the cadets. "What you saw," he said firmly, "was not in correct form." He paused. It was Earthborn combat control. The cadets shifted uneasily. Valor looked back at Aaron and leaned closer. His next words were low, almost a whisper, but everyone heard them. "Only Earthborn can shoot like that." No one laughed again. The academy felt different the next morning. No one laughed when Aaron walked into the range hall. Conversations stopped when he passed. Some cadets avoided looking at him. Others watched him carefully, trying to understand what they had seen the day before. Commander Valor stood at the center of the arena floor. "Today," he announced, "we move to full combat simulation." A large holographic field activated around them. The clean white walls disappeared. In their place rose the image of a ruined city. Broken towers, burning vehicles, smoke drifting through narrow streets. "This is not a basic drill," Valor continued. "Enemy drones will adapt to your movements. They will not follow simple patterns." Teams were assigned quickly. Aaron noticed something. No one chose him. When the teams were complete, he stood alone. One cadet spoke quietly, but loud enough to hear. If his grip is so perfect, he should not need a team. A few others smirked. Commander Valor looked at Aaron. "You will operate solo, Cadet Cole." Aaron nodded once. The signal horn sounded. Instantly, enemy drones dropped from the sky. Small, fast, armed with pulse cannons. Teams moved forward in formation. Energy blasts filled the air. Within seconds, 2 cadets were hit and removed from the simulation. Aaron moved differently. He did not run forward. He moved low, staying close to cover. His strange grip returned. His shoulders stayed relaxed. His breathing was steady. A drone darted from behind a broken tower and fired. Aaron leaned slightly, barely shifting his stance, and fired one clean shot. Direct hit. The drone fell. Another drone came from above. Most cadets looked up fully before aiming. Aaron did not. He tilted his weapon without lifting his body too high. One controlled shot. Second drone destroyed. Across the field, a full team struggled. Their shots were fast but wild. Two more were eliminated. Then the simulation escalated. A heavy assault drone entered the battlefield. It was larger, armored, and shielded. Red lights glowed along its sides. Its pulse cannon was powerful enough to remove 3 cadets at once. Some cadets began retreating. The heavy drone locked onto movement. It chose Aaron. The machine charged directly toward him, firing bursts at high speed. Aaron rolled behind a broken wall. Debris exploded around him. Through the dust, he stayed calm. His breathing slowed. The drone stepped closer. Closer. It raised its cannon for a final blast. Aaron stepped out at the last possible second. His stance lowered. His grip tightened in that strange, earthborn way. Instead of firing at the main armor, he aimed at the narrow joint beneath the drone's shoulder plate. One shot. The pulse hit exactly at the weak point. The heavy drone froze mid-step. Then it exploded in a bright flash. The entire battlefield went quiet. The remaining drones shut down automatically. Simulation complete. Smoke faded. The scoreboard appeared above the field. Aaron Cole, highest accuracy. Highest elimination count. 0 damage taken. Every other team had losses. The alien cadets stared at the numbers in disbelief. Commander Vaylor walked slowly across the ruined holographic street until he stood in front of Aaron. "You did not rush," the commander said. "No, sir," Aaron replied. "You waited." "Yes, sir." Vaylor turned toward the others. "Most warriors fire faster when afraid," he said calmly. "Humans fire slower." The words settled heavily in the air. The cadets were no longer mocking. They were thinking. As the simulation walls faded back into the clean academy hall, one quiet truth became clear. The strange grip was not strange. It was survival. And survival from a death world was something none of them truly understood. The academy corridors were still buzzing after the simulation. Cadets replayed the footage again and again on their wrist screens. Every pause showed the same thing. The human's grip never changed under pressure. Some tried copying it in private. Most failed. Late that evening, the academy lights dimmed to night mode. Training halls were nearly empty. Aaron remained at the range alone, practicing slow breathing drills. No targets. No noise. Just control. Commander Vaylor watched from the doorway. Before he could step inside, the entire academy shook. A deep explosion echoed from the outer defense ring. Red warning lights flashed instantly. Alert! Alert! Perimeter breach detected. The comm academy transformed into chaos. Cadets rushed into the hallway. Some grabbed weapons. Others froze, unsure if this was another simulation. "It's not a drill," the defense AI announced. "Unknown hostile forces have penetrated Sector 3. Commander Vaylor's voice cut through the noise. All cadets moved to defensive positions. Energy barriers flickered across the main corridors. Through a distant window, smoke rose from the academy's landing platform. Pirate raiders. Fast. Ruthless. Known for attacking training facilities because they expected weak resistance. Aaron stepped into the hallway beside the commander. "You trained for simulations," Vaylor said firmly. "Now you train for reality." A blast shook the east corridor. Metal doors collapsed inward. 3 armored raiders stormed inside, firing wild energy shots. Cadets fired back, but panic filled their movements. Shots missed. Walls cracked. One cadet was thrown back against the wall by a shockwave. Aaron moved forward. His posture lowered instantly. That same strange grip returned. A raider aimed directly at him and fired. Aaron shifted half a step, just enough. The blast missed by inches. He fired once. The raider dropped. Another pirate rushed from the side. Aaron did not swing his weapon wildly like others. He pivoted smoothly, keeping both hands locked in that controlled earthborn hold. Second shot. Perfect hit. The third pirate activated a short-range shield and charged forward. Several cadets stepped back. Aaron stepped closer. His eyes focused on the tiny flicker at the base of the shield generator. He exhaled slowly. One precise shot at the exposed connector beneath the armor plate. The shield collapsed. Second shot. The pirate fell. The hallway fell silent except for the sound of distant fighting. Commander Vaylor watched carefully. There was no fear in the human's movement. Only timing. More explosions sounded from deeper inside the academy. Sector 5 breached, the AI warned. Vaylor turned to the nearest cadets. Hold this corridor. Then he looked at Aaron. With me. They advanced together. Around the corner, 2 more raiders had pinned down a group of students behind a barricade. Energy blasts sparked everywhere. Aaron did not rush. He leaned slightly, maintaining balance. Grip steady. Breathing steady. He fired twice in quick succession. Both shots landed at narrow armor gaps. The raiders collapsed instantly. The pinned cadets stared at him. One whispered, "He doesn't shake." Aaron lowered his rifle slightly, but stayed alert. From the stairwell above, heavy footsteps echoed. A larger raider stepped into view. Taller. Thicker armor. Heavy plasma weapon mounted to his arm. This was not a small-time pirate. He locked onto Aaron. The hallway felt smaller. Cadets backed away. The plasma cannon began to charge, glowing brighter with each second. Commander Vaylor moved to aim, but Aaron lifted a hand slightly. Wait. The heavy raider fired. Aaron dropped low, lower than any academy form would allow. The plasma blast scorched the wall above him. From that lowered stance, his grip locked tight. He aimed not at the chest, not at the helmet. He aimed at the tiny seam under the shoulder plate. One shot, a small spark, then a chain reaction. The plasma cannon exploded on the raider's own arm. The shockwave knocked the armored giant backward. Silence followed. Smoke filled the hallway. The heavy raider did not rise. The cadets stared at Aaron in disbelief. Seconds earlier, they would have laughed at that grip. Now they understood something terrifying. It was not a technique. It was experience. And Earth had given him plenty of it. The smoke had barely cleared when the academy trembled again. Warning, the defense AI said in a strained tone. Unknown vessel entering low orbit. Energy signature exceeds pirate class. Commander Vaylor's expression changed instantly. This was not random piracy. This was coordinated. Outside the Academy's upper dome, a dark ship descended through the clouds. Its hull was scarred with battle marks. Its cannons powered up as it hovered directly above the main training complex. Inside the corridor, cadets looked toward the ceiling nervously. One whispered, "That's a warship." A massive blast struck the Academy shield. The entire structure shook violently. Outer shield integrity at 60%, the AI reported. The pirate ground team had only been a distraction. Aaron stepped toward a shattered window and looked up at the hovering vessel. He studied its movement, its weapon ports, its pattern. He noticed something. "It's compensating for gravity drift," he said quietly. Commander Vaylor looked at him. "Explain." "The ship is adjusting every 3 seconds," Aaron replied. "Earth ships do that when stabilizers are damaged." Vaylor narrowed his eyes. "You've studied warships?" Aaron shook his head slightly. "I've survived them." Another blast hit the shield. 40% integrity, the AI warned. If the shield fell, the Academy would not survive the next strike. Commander Vaylor turned to the defense console. "We do not have heavy weapons ready." The cadets shifted anxiously. They were trained students, not full soldiers. Aaron looked back at the hovering ship. "Sir," he said calmly, "there's one shot." Vaylor studied him carefully. "One shot at what?" "The stabilizer vent," Aaron answered. "Right beneath the forward cannon. It opens for less than a second during charge rotation." Vaylor looked up again. The ship began charging its main cannon. The stabilizer panels shifted slightly as internal systems adjusted. It was almost invisible. Almost. "You cannot hit that from here," one cadet said nervously. Aaron checked the Academy's long-range pulse rifle mounted near the observation tower. It was designed for training, not war. But it still fired straight. Commander Vaylor made a decision. "Clear the tower." Cadets rushed aside. Aaron climbed the narrow steps calmly. Outside, the warship's cannon glowed brighter. "Shield at 20%, the AI warned. Aaron reached the top platform. Wind whipped against him from the pressure waves above. He positioned the rifle. Lower stance. Strange grip. Same grip. Below, cadets watched silently. No one laughed now. The warship's cannon reached full charge. The stabilizer vent beneath it opened briefly, releasing excess heat. Commander Vaylor spoke softly through the comm channel. "Now." Aaron did not rush. He inhaled slowly, exhaled halfway. His body went still. The wind did not move him. The shaking did not disturb him. The glowing vent flashed open again. For less than a heartbeat, Aaron fired. The shot cut through the air like a single line of light. It struck the vent precisely as it opened. For a split second, nothing happened. Then the stabilizer exploded inward. The cannon's energy overloaded instantly. The warship shook violently. Its main weapon detonated inside its own housing. A massive fireball erupted across its hull. The ship tilted off balance. Flames tore through its side as systems failed. Slowly, the massive vessel drifted backward, engines flickering. Then it retreated upward into the sky, smoking heavily. Silence fell over the academy. The shield stabilized. The threat was gone. Aaron lowered the rifle. His hands did not tremble. Below him, dozens of alien cadets stared in disbelief. Commander Vaylor stepped forward and looked up at him. Over the academy speakers, the commander's voice echoed clearly. Today you witnessed why humans survived a death world. He paused. Not because they are the biggest. Another pause. Not because they are the strongest. His gaze remained fixed on the human cadet. But because when the moment comes, they do not miss. No one at the academy would ever laugh at that grip again. The academy stood quiet for a long time after the warship disappeared into the clouds. Smoke drifted across the training grounds. Small fires burned where debris had fallen, but the main structure remained standing. Emergency crews moved quickly, scanning for damage and injured cadets. Yet no one spoke about repairs. They spoke about the shot. Aaron stood alone near the observation tower, cleaning the long-range rifle. His movements were steady, almost routine, as if nothing unusual had happened. Footsteps approached behind him. He did not turn. Commander Vaylor stopped at his side. You understood the ship's movement before my officers did, the commander said. Aaron shrugged slightly. On Earth, if you do not notice patterns, you do not last long. Vaylor studied him carefully. You are not military. No, sir. Then where did you learn to fire like that? Aaron looked toward the horizon, where the pirate vessel had vanished. On Earth, he said quietly, there is no safe academy. There are no warning alarms before danger arrives. If something threatens your home, you stop it. Fast. Vaylor remained silent for a moment. Down below, alien cadets gathered in small groups. Their voices were lower now. No jokes. No arrogance. One cadet finally stepped forward and approached Aaron slowly. It was the same blue-skinned cadet who had laughed on the first day. He stood straight. Cadet Cole, he said carefully. Your grip, it allows faster recovery after recoil. Aaron nodded once. Yes. The cadet hesitated. Will you show me? There was no mockery in his voice now. Only respect. Aaron handed him the rifle. Lower your shoulders, he instructed calmly. Your weapon is not your enemy. If you fight it, you lose control. The cadet adjusted awkwardly. Lean slightly forward, Aaron added. Balance is everything. More cadets began to gather. Soon, several were copying his stance. Even those who had avoided him earlier now listened closely. Commander Vaylor watched the scene with quiet satisfaction. Hours later, the Academy Council assembled in the main chamber. News of the pirate assault had already spread across nearby systems. Reports were clear. A single cadet had disabled a warship-class vessel. The council leader turned to Vaylor. You trained him well. Vaylor shook his head slowly. No, he replied. Earth trained him. Back in the training hall, Aaron stood once more at the firing line. But this time, the formation looked different. Alien cadets stood beside him, not apart from him. Their stances were lower now. Their grips adjusted. The floating targets activated again. This time, no one whispered. No one doubted. They watched. Aaron raised his weapon. The same strange grip. The same calm breathing. He fired. Perfect hit. But what followed mattered more. Another cadet fired using the earthborne grip. Hit. Another. Hit. The range slowly filled with controlled, accurate shots instead of rushed blasts. Commander Vaylor stepped forward one last time. What changed? He asked the class. The blue-skinned cadet answered clearly. We stopped laughing. Vaylor nodded. Strength, he said, is not proven by pride. He looked toward Aaron. It is proven in the seconds when everything is at risk. Silence filled the range again, but it was no longer the silence of doubt. It was the silence of understanding. Aaron lowered his rifle and stepped back into line like everyone else. No medals were given. No dramatic speeches followed. But something permanent had shifted inside the academy. The human cadet who once stood alone was no longer alone. And across the galaxy, somewhere above the clouds, a damaged warship carried a message back to its masters. If you see an Earthborn raise his weapon, do not laugh, because seconds later, no one will be laughing.